Okay, remember they're changing my voice. For those of you who would say that I'm putting myself in dangerous situations, what those who use intellectual jargon might call precarious situations, okay, and making people feel uncomfortable at times when they walk by, which is sad. It's a sad day that when people see Satanists and occultists, they feel comfortable. People see child molesters, the masses of child molesters. If 1 in 4 females are sexually molested before the age of 18 and 1 in 6 boys, then how many child molesters are there? So they're comfortable when they see these people. But when I start feeling some degree of righteous indignation, moral outrage, and I start expressing it, that they're uncomfortable when they see me, and magically the cops should stop chasing serial killers and murderers and people that beat their wives and child molesters and all kinds of, and ignore corporate crime completely, and they should come and do something about me making the random person, the occasional person feel uncomfortable when I pass them on the path. Okay, and I don't usually make videos here. That's why we need a cultural center, right? A moral center, not a church. The churches are just government shells. We need a cultural center, a moral center to discuss things, okay, with soundproofing so people cannot interfere, okay, where people are not going to have psychological operations run on them. Let's face it, America is like historically the main nation of running psyops. America, Russia, there's certain nations, Israel, okay, the UK, there's certain nations that are so famous for running psyops, they have intelligence agency-based movies time and time again, okay? So it is stupid as hell to say, hey, you know what? He's crazy because he thinks that there's psychological operations being run domestically when America has a long history of doing just that, and whistleblower after whistleblower said that they never stopped, okay? And it's unbelievable. I mean, whistleblowers are so commonly right that there's even, something called the Martha Mitchell effect. That when somebody tells the truth about government activity, they label them crazy, and they use the example of Martha Mitchell. And who that was is a story for another day. It has to do with presidents and politicians. It's a long story, okay. And I don't remember it that well off the top of my head, okay. So again, like I said, the answer here is those cultural centers. It is the War on Poverty plan. I mean, this is money that rich people aren't gonna miss. You know what I'm saying? I said myself in the first month that I'd pay $500 myself, even though that's way more than my share of the War on Poverty plan. I'd pay that the first month. Or I think I might have raised it to $1,000. Okay, well, I'm just gonna call it $1,000. If they pass the plan, I'll spend $1,000 myself the first month, okay? And I'm not a rich person. It is outrageous that you people just abuse the poor. You think that you're smart, okay? You think that you're clever, okay? Smart people don't do evil things, okay? The fruit of the righteous is wisdom. That means righteousness only comes through wisdom. The foundation of God's throne is righteousness and justice, not wickedness and stupidity. And God is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good, which means God is smarter than everybody. So in order to be more smart, you have to be righteous. So the people who are wicked, especially if they pretend to be righteous, are not as smart as other people. And those of you who've been following my videos for a while, you know damn well that I define myself with righteous. I'm not going out there chasing women or selling drugs or trying to make deals with corporations. Every day I'm insisting on what is morally precise, precision and decision. That's my life. That's who I am. When all is said and done and I'm dying on the deathbed or whatever, I'm bleeding on the ground, shot by some government proxy assassin or something, okay? I'll be looking back at a life of moral precision that I couldn't be more proud of. Not only am I right that righteousness is greater than wealth and everything else, is greater than having a beautiful wife and everything else, okay? But you have no valuable counter argument for that and the fact that I have proven definitively that I believe that and I live that. Time and time again, video after video. I just work, I talk about morality, and I do activities of daily living, and that's about it, okay? That's my whole life in a nutshell. I don't do anything that's fun. I don't watch movies. I don't do TV. I just do research to make the world a better place, to insist on what is the truth, to do God's work. That's all I do. Because I live the fact that righteousness is greater than wealth. I vie for women with the fact that righteousness is greater than wealth in a gold-digging society, and I get shunned for it. I do the right thing. Mr. Right on the right path, doing the right thing in his right mind, who is righteous. And anyone who opposes that is anti-righteous. And righteousness is a synonym in the Bible for godliness and holiness. So if they're anti-righteous, they're anti-God, which means they're anti-Christ. So all these people with their fairy conception of Jesus, well, why aren't they being righteous? Why aren't they practicing what they preach? Why don't they have the fine linen that stands for the righteous acts of the saints, the figurative fine linen? They have the dirty, filthy linen. They're shamefully exposed for their satanic acts. I insist on what is morally precise. Anything short of it causes crimes against humanity. Okay? You know, if you shoot one person in the leg, it's very sad. If you shoot everybody in the leg, it's a crime against humanity. So when you don't insist on morally precise governance, by default, you're part and parcel with crimes against humanity. It starts with the population refusing to insist on moral precision, and then it continues in the expression of the crimes against humanity that proceed, the exploitation, the covert drugging, okay, the homelessness, okay, the crimes, the gangs, you name it. It's a result of a population that won't insist on what's right. And there's a bunch of dickheads who pretend that they're insisting on what's right. A bunch of white supremacists on the right, a bunch of liars and controlled opposition in the Libertarian Party, a bunch of bootlickers on the left who want to waste money instead of actually solve the problem because they're liberal, progressive eugenicists, and they're dominating the left, and the left is just a spectrum of that, and the right is just a spectrum of neocon garbage. I mean, just cowards, just horrible, horrible people that have no problem going along with the devil and just taking their bootlickers' pittance and deriving pleasure from wickedness. Just horrible, horrible people. Just utterly depraved, raised in a barn, just low lives, just horrible people. That's why it's called low lives. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Class is about morality. You know, I grew up in fucking Saratoga partially. I lived in a house that's now worth $5 million. I can tell you firsthand that money ain't shit. Righteousness is greater than wealth, and I know that beyond any doubt. My father is a humanitarian. Why didn't he choose to be some bootlicking rich person, some insider trader dog? Instead, he chose to give people free service, to give his money away, to do the cancer research, because righteousness is greater than wealth, and the top brain surgeon that ever lived has proven that by his life, and the top martial artist that ever lived me has proven that by my life as well. Okay? Mr. Right doing the right thing on the right path, who is righteous, insisting that the world is righteous, and they're persecuting me for it. Lowly dogs. The same types of institutions and groups and social clubs that assassinated Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all this stuff, you know, went after Marcus Garvey and Patrice Lumumba. Not that I agree with them about everything, but because they seemed righteous, these people assassinate them for it. They assassinated JFK because they're bitch-ass motherfuckers that should be locked up immediately and flogged thoroughly.